All right, we are back with another episode of 90s Noise. I'm April, born 1991.
And I'm Ashley, born 1988. So we just want to thank everyone for listening to our episode. And we want to remind everyone that we do have a Patreon account that you can find a link to either in our show notes for each episode, or you can find the link to it on our Instagram, which is 90s Noise. And we have a great deal for $3 a month. You have access to all of our videos of all of our episodes, all of the exclusive interviews that we do with all of our guests. You also will have access to a couple of fun bonus episodes each month, either related to a past episode or just something random that we decided to do. So we would love it if you would go on and support us and check that out. Also remember to follow us on Instagram, and of course, leave us a review wherever you listen to your podcast, whatever platform that is. Leave us a review. We would love to hear from you. We really do appreciate all of your support, and we will definitely shout out any reviews that we get.
Also, don't be afraid. Send us some messages on Instagram. We love talking to people and hearing feedback. And yeah, we would love to hear from you. This episode is, I don't know how to necessarily describe it. I say puppy power.
Ooh, I like that. Puppy
Puppy
power. I mean, and a little bit of kitty cat power. We
a
can't.
little bit can't forget sassy, but I mean, because our second doubles there aren't really any cats. Are there any cats in?
I don't think so.
Let's start the ball rolling here. So this week we are talking about 4 movies combined, but in a sense it's more 2 in a sense because it's one in a sequel.
Yeah.
Which do you want to start first? I think probably we touch on Beethoven first.
Yeah, I was going to say just kind of touch on Beethoven. I don't have a lot to say on Beethoven.
Really?
I mean, I do, but like after rewatching, okay, so I don't think I've seen Beethoven since the 90s, since I was a kid.
Really?
So rewatching Beethoven, it was different. Like I can't say that I loved it as much as I thought I would. And I think it was the second one where where are they at? At the cabin, the vacation, whatever.
Yes.
There's a lot of shit with that movie that it's like, I mean, there's a lot with both, but the second one particularly doesn't really sit very well with a lot of the stuff going on, both with the dogs and with the daughter and like her little fling she's trying to have. Like that shit. Yeah. I'm like, wait, what is going on?
You're like, wait, how old is she again?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, there was a lot happening. The first one I felt like was a little bit more innocent and more about the dog. I don't know.
Honestly, for me, I'm going to check something really quick that I forgot to check here on this. I don't know, it's kind of interesting that we're doing Beethoven. We're talking a little bit more about Beethoven now after we've already talked about Three Musketeers. Because in the first movie, there's the dog catchers. And did you recognize Oliver Platt, who plays Porthos, was one of the dog catchers with Stanley Tucci?
Yes, that was really funny to see them because I completely did not realize that either of them were in the movie, and especially in that role. So that was kind of hysterical. But yeah, I remember you pointing that out to me about him being in that, and I'm like, wait, which one was he again? But yeah.
Before rewatching, I probably hadn't seen him for a good like 5 or 10 years. Probably not quite as long for me. But I also, any dog or cat movies, I would have on repeat. And Beethoven was one. I mean, I remember we had having the VHS. That was like a favorite. When Beethoven second came out on VHS and everything, I I remember that one. And that one, so after that, I stopped watching because there's like a
There was a
million and 10.
bunch. Yeah. I didn't rewatch anything after the second one. I am curious if
Mm-mm.
I did ever see like at least the third one. I know I wouldn't have watched anything else past that, but because I think the third one came out in the late 90s. Am I correct? Like, so it seems like something that I
Yeah.
could have possibly have seen still being in the
Yeah.
age range for it. But I know for me personally, the second Beethoven was my favorite. Like, I had the
Mhm.
Missy
Missy.
pup. We had like the book, and so I remember that one a little bit more. And I know they had like toys. Am I not
Hmm.
mistaken?
Yeah.
If I don't know if it was a fast food place that had them or if they just had it at the store, but I
Probably
do
like
remember they
McDonald's
had,
or something.
yeah, and they had like all the little puppies and like different
Hmm.
things. So for some reason,
Mo.
that one, yes. Oh
Mo.
my
Oh my gosh.
God. That was
Oh
my
my
favorite
gosh.
part of the movie is when they're naming them, because even before they went around and started naming them, like, oh, I know what they're gonna name them. Like I remember like the names that they chose for them. I'm like, oh my God, it's so memorable. But that one,
Tchaikovsky.
I know. I'm like, wait a second, this is a kids movie, but
And so, okay, so talking a little bit more about the first one, kind of touching on, having talked to Brian.
oh yeah, let's get into some of those scenes that that now as an adult go back and you're like, yeah, that's a fake dog.
Exactly, exactly. So, like the pool scene, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I just like I like knowing rewatching it, knowing that he didn't allow the dog to be like forced into any of the dogs to be forced into doing anything. He just kind of let them be. And I gotta say that movie kind of scared me a little bit too. I don't know about you,
As a
but
kid or as an
as a
adult?
kid, as a kid,
What part?
the parts at the vet and when the vet comes and the whole scene in the backyard and
Mm-hmm, that villain
everything.
guy. Yeah, I
Oh
forgot
my
about
gosh.
that. Like, I forgot like the backyard scene. I did forget about him being back there and then like punching them and like doing different like
Yeah.
that was intense.
I'm like, goodness gracious. And like having the fake blood and everything, and the little girl seeing it, and just
Oh
like,
yeah.
could you imagine traumatizing? Like
Mm-mm.
seeing somebody who's supposed to be helping take care of your animal do that. Like I think I had like anxiety for our animals going to the vet after that. And
Oh
we
really?
personally knew the one that we would take ours to.
Aw.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm sure that probably triggered a lot of kids with that.
Yeah. But I did love going back to the the Oliver Platt and Stanley Tucci's characters in the first one. I did love towards the end when they're running from the dogs and like get over the fence and they're doing the whole dance and everything. And Oliver Platt's like, and turn around and there's these two massive, what are they, Dobermans?
I think
Are
so,
those the
yeah.
skinny ones?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pointy ears and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're just like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah,
like,
that would suck.
yeah. And I'm not saying
Serves
like
them right though,
Dobermans.
but
Yeah, it does serve them right. I'm not saying like Dobermans in general or anything. I'm one of those that like I love any dogs, but I'm always
mm-hmm.
is it okay to can can I give your dog a pet? Those kinds of things.
Right.
You don't ever just go up to somebody's animal and
Mm-mm.
everything.
But
But
people do, like, oh my God,
oh
don't
my
even
gosh,
get me started on that. Like I get
no.
so frustrated taking my dog out sometimes in public because people constantly are just like,
Yeah. So I mean, okay, yeah. You have a dog,
yeah, which right
and
now she's being a cuckoo head. She wants to play and be annoying. Yes, we're talking about dog, Grace, but not you. It's not your time to shine.
I love the use of all the different dogs in the first one. Like it wasn't just focused on one dog. I mean, because you had the little dog that was like his buddy, Beethoven's buddy,
Mm-hmm.
and everything. And then he got picked up by Oliver and Stanley, and it's like,
The
oh, he's
beginning
just a
is so
tiny little
cute with the
thing.
puppies and the wait for me, don't forget about. Oh my god, it breaks
Yes.
your heart. It's so
Oh my
precious.
gosh. Absolutely. And so, of course, like I love how, who was it? The son drove the car into.
Oh yes.
I did love how like the kids were involved and everything with the first one,
Yeah.
like
No,
helping.
I do remember really enjoying the kids' involvement in that movie, and like the little
Mhm.
girl, like I remember really loving her character and stuff, which I'm curious, I don't did she ever
She
go
really
on
didn't
and
do
do any?
much,
No, she didn't. Because
not
I
much
remember
else.
I'm like, she is so cute for one, and
Hmm.
then two, like she was so good in both of those movies. But yeah, she didn't go on and do anything else.
Yeah, she was in
Interesting.
Kindergarten Cop before
Mm-hmm.
these. Yeah, she just, which maybe it was just a situation where her parents didn't really want her involved, which is understandable.
Yeah,
Not gonna lie.
she could have been traumatized on set with the dog napping.
Could have.
I mean,
Could could have. So, okay. Here's a question for you. Which villain do you like best? Do you like the vet from the first one, or do you like Regina from the second one?
oh, I love Regina. Like,
Oh
even
yeah.
though I despise that whole second movie plot of that, like, I love her and the way she portrayed that character. But yeah, you love to hate her though. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
Like the vet was like, okay, yeah, you're a dick, don't really care for you. But her character, you were like, wait a second, you're gonna do what with the puppies now? Like,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me? Like,
Like this is some Corella shit going on.
yeah, seriously, what, drown the puppies or something? Is that what she said? Like,
That's, I think so, to start with, and then the what the maintenance guy or whatever is like, if those are purebred, you can get fucking cash
oh
for them.
yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
so she's like, huh. And it's like,
Hmm.
you're like, what the this bitch is just about money.
That yeah, and that's why I adopt. I don't
Mm-hmm.
buy.
Oh yeah.
Because people are so fixated on purebreds and they think that they're supposed to be so much better or whatever. But I've always had adopted dogs, mixed breeds, and they have been absolutely amazing and have lived long,
Mhm.
happy lives. So
Yeah.
adopt, people, don't shop.
I think it's always like when we had dogs, when I had dogs growing up, it was, I believe we had adopted two. Our second one had puppies. We kept one of the puppies and we didn't get them fixed, which we should have. I know it, but they would have both have puppies. They were both females, and our next door neighbors' dogs were males, and they would get out and
Oh no.
all this kind of stuff. But actually, the first set of dogs or of puppies that our dog Sissy had, we had kept two.
Hmm.
We were keeping two,
Oh.
and one of them was named Gizmo
Oh my
and Mo.
gosh.
I called him
Oh.
Mo.
I was gonna ask, did you name
Yep,
any of them?
I did. I named him Mo, and
Oh.
his fur was, it was super fluffy and everything. So when as a puppy, I would give him the mohawk, and then we also had kept his sister Cookie. When we came down to Universal the very first time, they were doing the animal show and
Hmm.
they had Beethoven.
Really?
And I wanted, that's, I wanted to
Huh.
see Beethoven. I wanted to see Beethoven. Obviously, it wasn't
Not.
necessarily
Yeah.
the actual dog, but I was like, I gotta see, that was the only show I wanted to see, was to see Beethoven.
Can't
So,
remember if I saw that show actually. I probably did. I
yeah.
mean,
They still have it going, or at least they
I was
did
gonna
a
say,
couple
don't they
years
still
ago.
have that?
Yeah, and they still have
Yeah.
a Saint Bernard as
Oh,
a
in
part
it.
of it. Hmm.
Hmm. Oh.
I gotta talk about this scene because the scene like traumatized me for life. The puppy poop. Touch the puppy poop. If it's warm, they're close.
No. No, we're not doing that. Oh my God.
I I am curious to know what they used for that, for her to touch and everything, because
Oh,
obviously it
maybe
wasn't
some
actual,
chocolate. I don't know.
maybe like melted chocolate or something.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, there's
Oh
a lot
man.
of like things in that movie with Beethoven that I don't Grace has been a little bit naughty at times, but I don't think I've had to deal with the type of chaos that he put on the house with just kind of trashing it.
Hmm.
But that's always like my worst nightmare is like to come home and see things just in shambles and broken and everywhere. Like,
I don't know. Like I feel a little bit like it's kind of expected with dogs at some points and
mm-hmm.
everything. I mean, that is kind of partially why I like having a cat because
They can be left alone a little bit better.
there's only so much of a mess that she can make.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
I
they
mean,
do, don't get them wrong. Cats do like to knock shit
oh yeah.
off.
Oh yeah. Yeah, especially mine. But it's not, the destruction
Mm-hmm.
isn't quite as
Yeah.
bad. Like yeah, nails and everything, but it's just not quite as, like, her little teeth aren't gonna rip apart things like dogs will.
Yeah. That's the one pain about having dogs is that leaving them alone for any length of time, you're bound to come
Mhm.
home to, if not a mess of destruction, it's like poop or pee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just
Hmm.
bound to happen.
Yeah. So I do have to ask. I know we kind of mentioned at the beginning. So the boyfriend situation for
Mm-hmm.
Rice in the
Mm-hmm.
second, not taking into consideration the actor's personal happenings that have happened since,
Oh
whatever.
yes. Yes.
Which guy would you have wanted? Okay, let's do that. Which guy, when watching this, which one were you rooting for?
I mean, once you see the true actions of whatever his name was, I don't even
Mm-hmm.
remember.
It's a weird
You're
Devereaux Taylor.
was it Taylor? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Taylor Devereaux.
Hey, his name's Ashley. Um, don't be tarnishing the name now. You're kind of like automatically just. I mean, at least as an adult, I don't know how I perceived it as a kid. Obviously, probably
Mhm.
had no clue what was going on, but of course you're rooting for the guy that's not an asshole and is just like, hey, want to hang out, want to be friends, want to like get to
Mhm.
know you, not let's try to go have sex and then your house ends up falling apart thanks to Beethoven.
Your dog.
Like dogs, like that would be amazing if my dog saved the day in some situation where you needed it. Like how freaking badass would that be?
So just because I do work in real estate to a degree and everything, could you imagine calling your homeowner's insurance and going, my kid was having a party and a dog ripped half of the house off?
Yeah, I don't believe you.
And nowadays it'd be like, okay, where's the video proof? Everybody's got a cell phone now, but like back in the 90s, where's the proof? Like,
Yeah.
there is no proof on that. But all in all, I do still enjoy the Beethoven movies for what they were.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But I don't know, they don't make me feel the same way that our next two movies still do.
Yeah, that's kind of my whole thing with it. Like obviously for us, any animal movie we're down to watch as long as no animals are like getting hurt, killed, that type of thing. But
Unless the main character goes on a rampage and kills everybody in regards to the animal
oh,
being hurt.
there you
That
go.
I will allow
We'll allow
because yeah,
justice for yeah.
justice for that animal. Hell yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it just I don't know, like Beethoven's not it's not a bad movie, but it's not one that I feel like I need to go back and watch again. Or I
Mhm.
mean, I'll watch it again. I just mean like when I watch it, it doesn't have the same type of feeling like when I watch Homeward Bound at all. Like
Mhm.
there's just something about Homeward Bound that even after rewatching it a couple months ago when we were going to talk about these, and then just a couple days ago, like even how you texted me and said you were already crying, like every time, even though you know what the fuck is about to happen, you're like so
Mhm.
emotional and you're like, oh my God, why does that movie do that to you? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what?
Yeah. All right. So now we transition into Homeward Bound because these movies, the first and then the Lost in San Francisco, top favorite live action animal movies.
Now, do you like the second one? Like, do you
I
really like
did.
it?
I did. I really did like it. I like the addition of some other dogs, and I love the fire scene, like where they save the kid and the kitten and everything and stuff.
Oh, of course, it has
And
a kitten.
of course, of course. Uh I did. And I remember going and seeing that in theaters
Oh, really?
and walking into the theaters, and it was we got there late, I think is what it was, and we were the only people in the theater, so my mom actually went out and asked them if they could restart it, and they
Oh,
did. They were like, sure,
oh.
whatever. But the scene that we saw in theaters, I that really stuck with me was the flashback scene of Riley when he was given to a human as a
Mm.
Christmas present,
Mm-hmm.
and the human just didn't care. And so I I think that scene honestly probably is what determined that if an animal is like mistreated in a
Mm-hmm.
movie, I automatically hate whoever the fuck does that
Right.
and want them to die a horrendous death.
Pretty much.
I think that's probably the scene that did that to me.
Oh,
I love both of them. I could just curl up on the couch with a blanket, cup of hot cocoa, and just watch both of them and just have like boxes of tissues with me so I'm ready to go.
I think for I don't really remember the second one too much. Like well, for either of them, I don't really know when we would have seen them, if it was in theaters or we just rented them type thing. But the only thing with Homeward Bound is that the family dynamics are a little weird. Like
Mm-hmm.
as in Beethoven, it's completely different. Like the family dynamics are strong. Like you really connect with the children and the parents even, and then they're able to have the scenes with the dogs. But in Homeward Bound, it's I don't know, it doesn't really work as well. Like they're
Mm-hmm.
almost the family's very backseat, and you don't really understand what the hell's going on with the mom and the dad and the kids. Like it just at least in the first one, you're kind of like, what the fuck? Like, you're just leaving the animals? Like, how can you
Yeah,
allow this guy to come into your family, now married to him, and be like, okay, for my job, we're
like
just
a
gonna
day
leave
later.
yeah, like the animals are just gonna stay somewhere random, and we're just gonna go off and do our thing for a while. Like, I'm sorry, but if somebody tried to come into my household and be like, the animals don't matter, it's about us, no,
Is
you cannot, it's not one or the other. I mean, it is one or the other, but it's the animals. It's like, sorry,
yeah,
fuck out of here.
exactly. No, like that definitely. And in the first one, it's really confusing, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
because and then it's like, okay, well, yeah, they're living, it looks like they are living in a small apartment, but I mean, it's big enough for the five of them. I mean, there's
It was a
plenty
big
of places.
house that they were
I
living in,
think
wasn't it?
I
Because
no,
that's how it opened
so
up at the wedding.
no, their home is a house, but in
Oh,
San
where they moved.
Francisco, it's an apartment because it's
Yeah,
like a temp living or something like that.
yeah.
But that then I don't understand because like the kids are in school. If this is a temp living, why would you enroll them in that school? Like there's a lot of
And it's like, oh, we'll go back and visit them every so often. But it's like, so why didn't you just get a place where you could have the animal? It just seems
exactly.
that how is that going to work out long term? Like it just, I don't know. That whole thing
I
just never sat with me very well.
it's one thing like if it's okay, let's get moved and get all of our stuff there. The animals are going to stay with a friend for a week so that way
Yeah,
we can, because we're going to be back and forth and stuff like that. And they're going to stay with a friend for a week so that way they have a constant
yeah.
for that time. And then we bring them in and
I
everything.
think I
But no,
always thought that they were like going on vacation, so they were leaving them with a friend. But rewatching it as an adult, you're like, no, that's not what's going on.
no,
Like
they're
they're
not going
literally
on
just like,
vacation. That's
so,
that's the second one.
That would be the second
That's
one,
the
but
second one.
they're bringing them with them.
Yes,
So
they're
that
they just
one,
yeah.
but yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about this. So this a Homer Bound, the first one destroys me emotionally
Oh my God.
every single time.
Every single
Second
time.
one, not so much,
Yeah.
but the first one, legitimately, like it even started when I texted you that it was at the scene where Shadow and Peter are playing basketball
Mm.
and everything. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Like I'm sitting there watching it. I'm like, I'm starting to like ugly cry. I need to like pause for a minute to compose myself.
It is really sweet because I think that's the one thing that really works well for the movie is that each animal has their owner in a sense, and they have
Yeah.
their own different connection. And I think it allows some sort of relatability. Relatability, is that how you say it? To
Maybe.
other people that have
Yeah.
animals. And for me, I connect most with Peter and Shadow, because I've always kind of had that type of bond with my animals, is that
Mhm.
it just seems very loyal, and they're very honest to you, and they love you in every sense of the way. And I feel like my dogs would speak the same as Shadow would, where they were just looking out for you and they want what's best, and it's like, hey, like, where'd they go?
Mhm.
Like, don't leave me. Versus like Chance, who is like this unruly pup and is all over the place, and he eventually comes around to loving whatever the kid's name is,
Jamie.
Jamie.
Mhm.
And then of course you got Sassy, who's just her own breed in herself, with typical cat. So I mean, that's like a cat, that's a normal cat thing. But as far as the dogs go, I don't know, like, as an adult, you see that bond between them, and you're
Mhm.
like, that is super strong, and that's something that you want when you have an animal, is that type of connection. And so of course at the end, when you're like, everyone's back but my dog, like, that breaks your
Oh my
fucking heart.
gosh.
Like, it breaks your heart, and like,
Um,
oh my God, can you imagine that? And then he
okay, I'm
comes
like
up
starting
over
to
the
like
hill, and you're
tear up
like,
just thinking about it.
I know, that's why I was like, I couldn't do it the other night. I'm like, I'd be bawling on top of everything else.
I so like anytime any of our dogs, either Cookie or Sissy would have a golden coated puppy, I would always call it Shadow.
Oh.
I would always, always, always. I always wanted to keep it, but my parents were like, we already have two dogs. We're not adding to this. Like, we already have two.
But it's Shadow.
And I was so upset because there was one litter where a family came and picked up two of the puppies while I was at school, and Shadow was one of them. And I was like, I came home, I'm like, Dad, where's I think it was like Shadow and Blackie or something like that. I'm like, where are they? Well, people came and picked them up. They were getting ready to move, and they wanted to swing by, get them and everything, and they're moving to somewhere. I'm like, I was of course like
Oh no.
10 or something, but I was like, I didn't get to say goodbye. And there's I think like a what is it? A TikTok video or something where it's like therapist. At what point in your
Oh my
life did
God.
you
Mm-hmm.
did I don't even remember exactly. And it's like, and then
It's
it goes and
yeah.
shows the moment
Yeah.
of Shadow coming over that
That
hill.
meme has been going around. Oh my God. Yes. It's
And
like,
I'm
yeah.
just like, it
It
is
is. It
just
really is like the saddest moment of your childhood, is that moment. You're like, oh my God.
the Homeward Bound having voice actors for the animals.
Mm.
I like that because you get like it gives you like an insight into their minds and
Mm-hmm.
everything. And so obviously everybody knows the voice of Chance is Michael J. Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Sally Fields voices Sassy, and Shadow's actually voiced by two separate people
Mm-hmm.
because the original voice passed just before he passed the same year that the first one came out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it came out first and then he passed or what. Honestly, they did such a good job of getting somebody who sounded so similar that I didn't realize that until I was doing my background research on IMDb.
Yeah, same. I think you can tell more that the dogs and cats don't look alike more so than the voices of Shadow
Yeah.
don't match. Like,
Yeah.
for sure, they did an amazing job with the casting of the voices because I am a huge Sally Field fan and she
Mm-hmm.
just fits the character so well. And the same with Michael J. Fox. Like, it is just, I don't know who else you could ask to do an amazing job that
No.
they did. It really just is so fitting.
I'm now kind of kicking myself in the ass for not doing a Michael J. Fox autograph when he was at MegaCon in 2019. But here's my thing. I would have wanted a chance picture. I would have probably brought Homeward
That would
Bound.
have been, yeah, you would have had to have. I mean,
And
oh,
I mean, I know everybody like Back to the Future, all this kind of stuff, but
I'm sure he still gets a lot of people that remember him from Homeward Bound. Like, that was a really big role for him.
mm-hmm.
Now, I'm curious, did you ever watch like the true original?
I was about to say
Okay.
so I had wanted, we would always have to, it was either renting or watching it on TV when it was being
Mm-hmm.
shown on like Wonderful World of Disney or just whatever. And so I I think it was like rented out at our normal video store. So I think
Mm.
we went to the library to
Mm.
rent it. And it was the original, like the 1950 or
60s.
something,
Mm-hmm.
60 version,
Yeah.
where it's no voice actors,
Mm-hmm.
completely different breeds of dogs,
Mm-hmm.
and a cat, the different type of cat, I believe, too.
Yeah.
I mean, it is very similar, but I just remember like getting home and watching him like, what?
So you
Like,
saw it after you saw the
mhm.
90s Homework. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, because when I was looking it up and reading some stuff, it seems that people who grew up or at least saw the original Homeward or what is it called? The Incredible Journey,
Incredible Journey. Yes.
or read the book, they actually prefer that version much better. And they said that they don't feel like Homeward Bound does it justice the same way. And so it seems to be like a divide where if you knew that one and you grew up with that one, that's the one that speaks to you versus this one.
Yeah.
People seem to say that with the voices and stuff, it just kind of takes away from the story or whatever.
I think though, as because you got to think about it though too, the people who grew up with the original, The Incredible Journey, most likely were already teens or older
Mm-hmm.
when Homeward Bound came out. The 93, I believe it was 93.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to think of it this way. They're already at an age where talking animals
Right.
doesn't really appeal to them, all that kind of thing.
I feel like talking animals was kind of almost a new concept too. Like for us as in the 90s, we were getting a lot of that thrown at us. Like it was talking
Yeah,
animals, talking animals. So for us, it was like, that's the norm. Like, that's okay. This is great.
exactly, because that's all we really knew.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody who like Old Yeller, like I mean, I watched like
Oh,
I
that's a sad
loved
movie.
all of those. That is
Yes.
my mom wouldn't let me watch it for a little while because of it being
I don't
sad.
blame her.
I mean, I loved all of those. Again,
Mm-hmm.
anything with an animal. And maybe going back now and rewatching The Incredible Journey, I might like it a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
as an adult because I'm an adult now.
Right.
The Incredible Journey, I think, was more geared towards the generation it was geared towards was just completely different.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And
I would be curious to read the book though. I do love a
I,
good story,
yeah,
especially animal story. So I would be interested in reading that.
I would just probably have a really, really hard time if they kept like if that whole like train yard sequence is the same and
Oh.
everything. Like
Mm.
I'll be like turning like because I probably have to end up doing Audible just with my schedule and everything. I wouldn't really be
Yeah.
able to sit and read it, which I hate that, but it is what it is now. Like
Yeah.
I would probably be like I can't. It was just because it was just so heart wrenching because they're so excited.
I know.
They were reunited. They're getting close to home. They're so excited. They're running, and then just you hear the squeal, and you're just, it is, and then like Chance going down there and like trying to get him up and everything, and all this, and just and then the actor who does the voice of Shadow, and just the can't.
I know. You're just like, no, but you gotta try.
Your heart just breaks. And I was reading that he didn't, they had like 2 holes dug for it. They had like one that was like knee high type of hole, and then one that was a little deeper that they used for when he's like laying down. It's a stuffed dog or whatever. And they had it to where he really didn't fall. Like it was more of like a skipped a step kind of thing.
Yeah.
I didn't like seeing how they gave him the limp when he comes back. They like
did you
put
read
a
about
rock
I was gonna
or
say
something in his paw.
Yeah,
and
I did read because I was curious as to kind of, that's always a big thing with animal movies is I feel like it's gotten better over the years. I mean, obviously it definitely didn't start out well for animals in movies. It was a horrendous thing, but I do think that on Homeward Bound, they did everything they could to make sure that the animals are treated well. I mean, I know they used a ton of dogs and different cats and stuff. So, and especially like the waterfall river scene, that one always, you're just kind of like, wait, what the fuck? Like there's a cat in that, which it's not really like the whole time, obviously. And they used multiple different cats and it was only for a couple seconds each take. And so there's a lot of little things that go into the making of it that you don't know about as an audience member, but that scene is always like very,
so that one is very traumatizing. Very, very traumatizing. But it's kind of talking about that. There's a part when they're like running through and Chance gets hit by like a branch. He like runs into a branch. The dog, that was unscripted of the dog, and the dog just kept going. And I was like, oh, okay. So Michael and Sally ad-libbed a lot also.
Yes. Oh, I bet. Having to pick up the characteristics of the dog, they probably added in things.
Because they had like what I'm sure they had, obviously they had a script, but then how most of that is they have it playing and you're recording during in real time. And so I think that's that part they said Michael had also ad-libbed because the dog ad-libbed it pretty much. Whoops. And I just thought that was very, very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cute that they left that in too.
Yeah. And I did love how they had like the older gentleman save Sassy.
Yeah, that was a sweet part.
And like that always makes me feel warm and fuzzy. And then like when she hears them barking and she kind of like perks up and everything, it's like, oh, my boys.
Have you seen any of the deleted scenes from the movie? Because they have something on YouTube. I've never seen them before, but I watched it, and there was actually like an extra scene with Sassy in the cabin where he like leaves a goat in the cabin with her, and when he comes back, the goat's like the place is kind of a mess, and the goat's kind of like on its side. Like I don't know if he's like tied up or just like I don't know how if he's tangled up or whatever, and she's just sitting up there like, wasn't me. It's so funny.
I read about that. But I don't recall that specific scene. I remember the scene they removed where something with like Chance after the cake. I can't remember exactly what it was because like, but there's a few scenes that
there was quite a few
I've seen before, but not all of them.
And there was this weird one with the dad, the family in the apartment, and I'm glad they didn't put it in because it made the dad look even worse. Like I don't know, it just like I said, the family dynamics were weird, at least in the first one. Like, and it probably was because there's a stepdad situation now and stuff, but it was like, oh, all worried about going to this party that they were throwing in his name, and the kids were like, we're supposed to see the dogs and cat this weekend. Like, fuck your party, Dad. Like,
Yeah.
and like, oh, okay, I guess we won't go. I'm like, yeah, we're not going. We gave up our pets. For like, what?
Yeah, no, I would be okay. So I do have to be like, first off, why the fuck were there two letters left to the
Okay,
guy who was taken care of?
that part always that I mean, I know they have to have some sort of setup so that like it's all, but that was the stupidest thing you could ever do. Have two separate pieces of paper instead of all on
What?
one. Like, who does
Yeah.
that? And like
Like,
just leaves it kind of hanging willy-nilly and like, hello,
well,
like,
like it's there's the one, it's like two separate letters. It's not even like it's a single letter that just
and it
runs
doesn't
into a second
flow
page.
yeah, if he because he's like, oh,
It's
I read the second
two,
page where it sounds like you just like,
yeah,
what?
it's
Who writes the
two
letters that
fucking
way?
separate letters. That's where I'm like, even as a
Oh,
kid, I'm like, what the fuck?
and okay, so and then another one of the bonus or deleted scenes was that they go back into the barn. She's home, and so they both go into the barn. She's like, "Oh, it's right here." Like, did the guy not look around at all? Did he just
I mean, not, I mean, necessarily
like it was literally like, "Oh, there's the other part." Like, dude,
yeah,
you didn't
but
look
I
down.
mean, it's a guy.
I know, right? You're like,
But I mean, the donkey was like, was yelling at him, was like, where's my fucking food? Like,
mm-hmm.
I saw your truck get up in here. Where's my fucking food? This bitch left me high and dry. I need my food.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, like that always, even as a child, I was like, why is there a second letter?
That could have all been avoided. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, granted, like if he'd be like, where are the animals? She wasn't going to be able to be reached. They didn't
right,
have
they were
cell
already
phones.
gone, but yeah,
But
they didn't have cell phones.
I'm like, what the hell? What the hell?
Can you imagine your cat going on a journey like that? Like, you think she would survive? I
She
that is
wouldn't even
insane.
survive stepping outside.
I know. That's why I'm amazed that this house cat was able to do this long journey.
I mean, cats are actually really resilient.
Yeah.
They really are. We don't give our cat enough credit. Like she probably would be okay for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but she would her situation would be that she would probably see somebody and run up to them thinking that they're going to be nice and they be an asshole.
Yeah.
Whereas like this situation, there was nobody. I mean, they were in the
Right.
fucking what, Sierra Nevada mountains or whatever. I don't remember. They
They were
talk
supposed to
about it.
be, yeah, somewhere in the mountains. I think they filmed it in Oregon though.
Yeah. Yeah, no. It's like
Yeah, I would be so scared.
Also, Chance getting freaking hit. We didn't even talk about that. Well, not getting hit because remember when they
Wait.
escape. So
Mm-hmm.
when they escape from the pound,
Mm-hmm.
and chances just I don't remember why, but there's a truck and it's kind of, do you not remember what, like the family comes behind and they see this truck stopped and the driver's like, I think I hit a dog or something.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
like when they had gone to it, Chance was like, he was
Yes.
like cowering and
Yes.
everything. And
Okay.
it, and because like Jamie like comes out and is like, Chance, and the
Oh,
dad like
yeah.
grabs him,
Oh.
is like, don't, and they go and they check and he's nowhere there, so they're like, okay, well they're still okay.
Well, yeah, and like Shadow being like uncertain if they should continue forward. Like he's like, I think shouldn't we
He's
go
like,
back? Like I
yeah,
think it's like, oh my God.
we
Can you
he's like,
imagine like
go
just
back,
missing that? Like what
go
in the
back.
fuck? Like you were there. Like you could have
It's like,
been at home in a warm bed. Now
mm-hmm.
you're off again for another however long. I mean, I wonder how long that journey was. Was it like a week?
I don't know.
That'd have been a long journey.
It
And I
was.
would hope that if my animal ever did a long journey, they could find their damn way home because that's impressive. Like you have to talk about that too. Like that the fact that they
Oh yeah,
knew exactly where their home was.
yeah.
Like, I know they have a good sense of smell and direction, or at least they're supposed to, but when they're like, what, thousands of miles away? I don't know how far they were, but
I don't know because like I mean, it was like a good day journey too in the vehicle
yeah.
and everything. And obviously you gotta go with the roads on that. Whereas, I mean, that's the next thing. Like Shadow's like, oh, that was the long way. We'll take the shortcut. We'll just go up and over. It's like, no,
Oh,
that's you should
ooh,
have just taken the road.
oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, then they have to worry about getting hit, but
Yeah.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Oh, that movie
Oh,
is so good. I
so
hope they
good.
don't ever redo it though. Like they need to not
You
ever.
had to open your fucking mouth with that. Why, Ashley? Why did you even say that?
Disney. They're always coming up with
They
non-original
can't
ideas.
exactly. There's it's like they can't fucking figure out a damn original idea.
Now
Okay.
30th anniversary, so
Okay, why don't we fucking there is a plethora of like a gazillion books out there that buy the fucking rights. You have the damn money.
yeah.
You ain't paying your actors and writers shit, so buy the fucking rights. Oh wait, that's I forgot they want to keep their private jets.
Oh, so sorry.
Boo-hoo. What's gonna happen when jets get grounded because the emissions are too much? You
I
gotta
don't
take
care.
cars? Oh my
Yeah, right.
gosh.
Could you tell the difference between some of the shots of the dogs and stuff not being the same looking? Could you tell?
Not being that like not being the same breed, but just not the same dog.
Yeah, you could just tell like the
Yeah.
coloring
Oh yeah.
was marked. Okay,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, hell, even our two pictures
Oh my
that we have,
God.
that's not the same
Chance is,
shadow.
yeah, Chance and Shadow are.
Yeah, those are
I,
not the same. Because you can tell with like Chance's face is a little more
wait,
square in
is
mine.
mine from the second movie almost? It looks like, I don't
It
know,
looks a
but I don't know.
I can't quite tell on
That's
that.
really bad how inaccurate those two screenshots are.
I
Like,
mean, like look at
they
the
almost look like two different breeds.
I mean, they're the same breed. They
Yeah, they
might be
are.
like
It's just,
there might be it might just be like, okay, because what is it? Boxer? What is Chance? Boxer?
yes, I believe he's a boxer.
Okay, so it could just be like there's like different types of boxers, so they probably had like five different boxers or whatever.
No, it's American Bulldog. Sorry.
American Bulldog.
Yeah.
Well, but again, like they probably they might have used boxers in some of those and everything too.
Yeah, even that picture, it's like another whole different dog too. Okay.
Yeah, because
Yikes.
like the coloring is very different. You can
Yeah, well, I
tell.
mean, even in the second one, I mean, he's obviously going to be older, but you could
Uh,
tell he was more of a lighter brown, and
Well, that's the thing. So Shadow's supposed to be an old dog in the first one,
and then he's
but
even
in the
older in
second
the.
one,
He looks
but the
younger.
second exactly, exactly. He looks younger in the second.
I mean,
And
not
then
that
like
they
if you
ever say his exact age, but I mean, he's already in the first one. He's already really like got the white
great.
and the
Yeah.
grays, and so you're thinking
And
he's
then
probably like 12, and then so by the second one he would have to be like 15. Well, yeah, because the kids
pro
are like significantly older.
yeah.
So
But they also went through puberty, so that could actually only be like a
it doesn't
3 year difference.
say how like time wise does it tell you the
Let's
how many years
see.
later? Let's see. It doesn't say. It said they're going on a vacation.
Yeah.
Hmm. So, I mean, it could be a year later in their world, but
I know. So Jamie was like 5 or something in the first one. I feel like Jamie was like 5 or 6, and in the
yeah,
second one he was probably 10.
10. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was only actually like the second one came out in '96, so it was only a
So,
3 year difference.
but I think they what could well, you know what could have been because I when I was reading up, they said they actually shot that film in 91. So if they
So they
didn't
took it.
shoot until like 95, that is like a 5-year gap. So that could be why they look so much older, but maybe they
Mhm.
weren't really like moving forward 5 years in the film. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's true.
But I mean, like, again, like with different, when people go through puberty and everything,
Yeah, it
a
changes.
single year could look 4 years
Significantly different.
difference.
Yeah.
So, and just rereading on that, the for the second one, the blood red van, the dog catcher van, the blood
There
red
always
van.
has to be one. There's always got to be that dog catcher.
And I did love how the dogs get back at them. Everything. I always love that. And little puppy, like the little dog in the second one, like the little one that's like tries to be all tough and's got small dog syndrome.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, it is cute. Like the second one, them trying to add in more different characters and stuff. But for me, it was like they were trying too hard. Like they were trying too much with all the different add-ins of stuff instead of how the first one, it really was just about their journey and focusing on them. They were trying to add in all these different layers and stuff. And I get you can't like just repeat the same one, the first one, but that's kind of one of the things with that movie that I was like, I mean, it's cute, but now we just got all these different talking animals.
Yeah, no, I agree that that definitely, watching it as an adult, I definitely don't quite feel as much of a draw to the second one as I used to. I still enjoy it and I still do watch it, but for the rewatch, it was probably a couple of years ago. Whereas literally Homeward Bound, the first one, I had to like go in and then rewind it to start from the beginning because it had been recent enough that it didn't reset.
So I found this review that someone did about Homeward Bound, and I'll have to say that I'm not gonna call them out, but we'll never be friends. Let's just say that, because
all right, rolling up my sleeves, get ready here.
I'll have to send it to you. But this person did not like Homeward Bound, and they graded this movie an F because they're not an animal person. And I'm like, well, then what
why
is
the
your
fuck did they
existence in
even
this world?
watch it?
Like, I think they're like going through and reviewing, like watching all these Disney movies and stuff and just whatever. But I'm like,
there's the problem right there. They're watching the Disney movies. You're not an animal person. That is 95% of the Disney movies. So what the fuck are you doing? The other 5%'s princess movies.
Exactly.
So get the fuck out of here.
Exactly. I don't know, but I was just like, okay, cool. I found like someone's review and stuff, like this is neat. But no, they were like, I found the film to be boring, and every time it seemed to end, it just kept going. Like, dude, they're like, this is a story that I just don't find interesting. I'm just not into watching.
Stop it.
I'm just not into watching animals as the main characters of a film for over an hour. So I still found this film to be boring. Like, that's all they could say about it. It's boring. I'm like, you're boring.
There's the door, bitch. Like
what?
Like, what the fuck? Okay. Number one, are they senile? Are they, do they not know love?
Something's wrong with this person.
Okay, so I do get where some people, like, if they just didn't grow up with animals, they may not be as big an animal person as an adult. And I do understand everybody has the right to the wrong opinion.
Sure. Exactly. That's a great way to put it.
So side note, if you are not an animal lover, this podcast may not be the best choice for you. Exactly. Just say.
Don't come at us.
We're not going to hold it against you. Just don't tell us, and everything will be peachy keen. Number one, some of these reviews on things, it's almost like you could hand these people $1 trillion tax free and they would still find something wrong with it.
Oh yeah.
Well, why didn't I get 3 trillion or something like that? It's one of those that you just can't make them happy no matter what.
The thing though is with this person's review is that they don't even have anything good to add to the review. They're literally, the only remark about it is that they found it incredibly boring. And it's like, that's literally
when
it.
was this review done? Does it state?
2018.
Okay.
They're like, I found it incredibly boring, and honestly, I hadn't even heard of it before. Oh, well, they're talking about The Incredible Journey. Oh, wait. So
Okay.
they're like, I wasn't a fan of The Incredible Journey. I found it incredibly boring, and I honestly hadn't heard of it before, but I had heard of Homeward Bound, but I never saw it or knew that it was a remake. I couldn't understand why someone would want to remake The Incredible Journey for any other reason besides fixing its flaws.
So is this review about Incredible Journey
No, this
or
is about
Homeward
Homeward.
Bound?
Yeah. They're just doing a pre whatever you
Like a comparison?
yeah, that they had watched The Incredible Journey and found it boring, and they didn't understand why Homeward Bound needed to be remade. Why it needed to be remade into Homeward Bound, because Homeward Bound's also boring. It's like that's
Well, they're
literally their
boring.
only. Yeah, they sound like a fucking boring piece of.
Okay, so 2018.
But it's not even a review. They literally put that part. Then they basically give you the whole plot of the movie. Like
Yeah,
they go into
so
the
like,
review, the plot of the plot, and then their last little couple sentences again, it's boring. Like,
okay, that's
what are
yeah,
they?
that's
What is the
not
point
a
of their blog?
review.
It's a terrible blog
It's a
review.
blog.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
I'm gonna call them out, but I could always. But my live action Disney project, reviewing every theatrical live action Disney film ever made, or at least attempting to. Yeah, there's the part. You're attempting to, but you suck at
you're
it.
not reviewing it.
That's not a
Like
review.
review is you okay, that
It's
the problem is they went into it not objective. Sure, I can see why some people would think that Homeward Bound may be boring, like if they just aren't, if that's just not their niche. Like I'll be honest, like there are
yeah, if
some
it's not your
like
niche, yeah, you're not gonna like it.
they're like I'm not the biggest fan of biggest like diehard romance
Well,
person.
I don't like ninja movies. I find so those are boring.
Well, but you went into it objectively and like it was you did your best. Like
I'll give you more than it was boring. You know what I mean? Like, give
yeah,
us some more
like
context. Like, what about it
what
was so
why
boring?
why did you think it was boring?
I
Was
almost want to
it
write a comment on it and be like, "Can you give me more?"
like this isn't
Boring
like
how?
you're not they're probably ones that prefer just like the people only and they're probably ones that cry when the actual actors or actresses die in movies and probably don't.
I want to find out if they
Are they even
they
still
reviewed
doing?
the
I'm
second one.
curious.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm kind of curious. We promise this is not like a like
No, they only did the
dogging.
first one.
This isn't a dogging episode on something.
Oh, no.
You gotta be kidding me.
Oh, they're only doing the live action ones. Okay, so I was like, wait. Trying to find another movie that is like animal.
Did they do the live action Lion King?
They
Jungle
did.
Book?
They did. I was like, should I click on that one?
I will be honest though, like I prefer the animated on those myself. Okay, curious what they give the live action Lion
Oh, I
King.
want to just scroll down the bottom because that's usually where they like sum it up. They don't seem to like it. They
I
didn't seem to like
will
it.
have. I'm
I
not
mean,
gonna lie.
I get it.
Everybody does have their own
It's
opinions, even if they're wrong.
they reviewed Hocus Pocus. No, they don't have the second one. I was curious if they did the. Can't think of any other '90s
Live actions?
like animal movies.
No, I not necessarily. Well, Airbud.
Oh, let's see.
Airbud.
No, they didn't do that one. Of course they didn't.
Oh,
Because
I'll
they
come for
knew
them.
that one was good.
I will come for them if that. I will personally.
They did the 101 Dalmatians one.
The first or the second one?
The 96 version.
Was the first one, right? With the guy from
how old is this person? I had never seen this film before.
Okay, so this sounds like this. Okay,
they're either super old or
this
they're
is a
super
Gen
young.
Z. This is a Gen Zer.
It's just like a fucking. They're just giving the plot breakdown. They don't even say anything. Okay,
This has got to be like a Gen Zer.
And that okay. It was. Let's talk about the good stuff first. First of all, the acting is for the most part great.
This has got to be somebody that was born in like that probably is barely able to drink right now, honestly. Like
the
if
cinematography
they
doesn't
keep
particularly
saying,
stand out, but I don't remember being frustrated by any of them. I understand the changes in plot, blah 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 blah. Here we go. Now for my main gripe of the film. The animals don't talk. Wait, what?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
A majority of the film focused on the rescue, and since none of the animals talk, you're honestly filled with a good 40 or so minutes of just watching animals do stuff quietly, which to me is quite boring. They hate animals. They fucking hate
Fucking,
animals.
oh my gosh. I
Again,
want this
boring. That's all they can fucking
honestly,
say.
honestly, I want this link because I want to,
Oh, I'm
I'm going to
sending
call,
you.
I'm calling this person out. I will literally write a comment and be like, okay, so you don't like Homeward Bound where there's the talking animals, but you don't like 101 Dalmatians where they don't talk. Make up your damn mind, person, because you can't have it both ways.
They had a problem with it's the same problem I had with the 94 The Jungle Book, but at least the animals were never the main focus of that movie. So they don't like animals. They're
They
literally
don't.
they don't want animals to
I'll probably just
maybe people who are animal people could be more entertained watching the animals do things without talking, but for me it was the
I'm
biggest nail in this proverbial coffin. Oh my god.
oh, I will put the nail in your proverbial coffin.
We might be having to blast them on our page I don't know that they're even still around doing the reviews, but because this was back in
Probably
17.
not with
Probably
all this
got shit on.
bullshit. Like I'm not trying to like be a bully or anything like that, but
Yeah, so
if you don't like something, there are so many other things to do. Like that's like if you're just trying to dog on shit,
goodbye. Yeah, we don't need
like
your
get
negativity.
off.
Like most
Like
of their poorly rated, their view of poorly rated are like all like animal related ones mostly.
okay, then why even bother? Like there are so many other.
You might agree with their Hocus Pocus rating though. They gave it an F, so that's probably the only thing you'll agree on.
Okay, Hocus Pocus, it just didn't do it for me.
I
We've talked
know.
about this. It I wouldn't give the first one enough. The second one we didn't even make it through.
I like the second one. It actually made me cry.
Really? We must
Yeah.
have like turned it off before it got
But
to that
I have
point
a huge
because
connection to the first one. So the second one, it's like,
yeah.
oh,
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest that like one of my favorite parts of the first one was Binks.
yeah.
I mean, let's be
Yeah,
honest.
I agree.
Now that we've gotten fired up on
Come at us. Come
on
on.
oh my gosh. Like I
Oh,
said,
that's too funny.
that's the type of person who doesn't John Wick somebody. Like sit at the other table. Like go sit over
Please.
there.
Bye-bye.
You can't sit with us.
Yeah,
You can't sit with us.
You can't sit. I love that. Oh, yeah, no, they Mary Poppins of 1964 got the highest rating from them.
I was about to say, if they tried dogging on that, I will find them. I will hunt them down.
She's coming for ya.
Like,
Oh
don't fuck with my Mary Poppins.
Pirates got an A. They did rate Lady and the Tramp from 2019 as an A minus though, so that's a little surprising. Huh? Did you watch that one?
No, I did not.
It's actually a cute movie.
I have not. That was what Disney Plus's first thing. I have not gone back. I didn't mind the animated, but it wasn't a top pick.
It wasn't. Yeah, I agree.
So, all right. Anything else? Homeward Bound or Beethoven?
Nope. Just next time I watch it, I'm sure I'll cry again.
Oh, yep.
Now, why is it on the poster they have all three of them on this log floating down a river? Like that never happened.
Well, I mean, that might have been like a deleted scene when they were crossing the log.
And
I mean, because it.
No, I get what they're probably trying to do. Like that is a big scene where they're all trying to rescue Sassy and stuff.
Yeah,
but it's just it's just a funny poster.
Yeah. Oh no, I love it though.
It's
a cute poster.
Oh.
And no, your picture is stated from The Incredible Journey. I see it right here.
Shame. Man, yeah. What's your cat look like? And the cats look different. Well, here's the.
Yeah.
Why does she look blurry? Like they CG her eyes, like painted her in. What is that like? She looks painted in.
A little bit, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I love animals.
Yeah, gotta love animals.
Yep. Cheers to the pups and cats.
Cheers. There'll be plenty more animal movies
Oh, hell yeah.
to talk about coming up.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Can't wait.
Alrighties. Until next time, peoples.
Bye.
Peace out.